here, we're all working very hard. Now, I understand that you're gonna have some challenges, you're gonna have some frustrations, so that's what we're here to solve today for this session. We're gonna go over the 4 common errors that happen when dealing with the backhand offense footwork to the net. So, the first one is the mistimed prep jump. I know you've heard me talk over and over about the prep jump, but I can't reinforce it enough how important it is, because that's the one that keeps that energy going and gets your feet ready to pounce on the next shot. So the challenge can be mistiming that prep jump. If you jump too soon, then you'll lose the energy in time to move when you see your opponent's shot. If you jump too late, then you're gonna be in the air when you see the next shot, and then you won't be able to move as quickly. So it's really important that all the footwork we're practicing, we're focusing on getting the timing down for the prep jump, imagining that our opponent is hitting the bird just as we're dropping to dodge the bullet. So if that's something that's challenging you, then think about imagining your opponent hitting the shot up to the backhand net as you're practicing. And that will really help you get the timing so you can reach the bird in the optimal height. Now, the second problem that occurs a lot when it comes to the backhand net shot footwork is the actual steps. It's really important to memorize those steps following the prep jump, that you get the accurate step initiating with the non-racket leg. Now, you might be saying, well, I'm doing that, but I'm still getting to the bird late. One of the problems is probably that you're taking that step in the wrong direction. Yes, it seems strange. It's very logical that we would step towards the bird, but in the excitement of the rally, it's very common that people will prep and then step back before they actually move forward. So be aware of where your center of gravity is. You need to keep that gravity in front of you and up at your chest level so that you can pull towards the net, as opposed to getting surprised by the shot and then stepping back before you step forward. So let me show you what that looks like to do that in the wrong way and how we'll solve it. So I do my prep, oh, I'm surprised, and then I step forward. And see, I'm missing about a meter or more of distance. Here's it wrong again. I don't want to practice it too many times wrong, but prep jump, oh, I'm surprised, and then I step forward and I don't have enough distance. So to correct that, we take our prep jump and then we step forward. And it needs to be a big step. If that shot is coming all the way close to the net, we need to make a big step forward and a strong spider push to get all the way distance right up to the tape. Prep, big step, push. Notice where I'm planting my non-racket leg. I'm planting it in front of me towards the bird. So if I'm moving straight ahead, that would be exactly the same, but forward directly towards the bird. Prep, step, reach. Prep, forward, reach. Now the third problem that arises a lot on the backhand side when moving towards the net in the offense position is forgetting to change the grip. Now, we know that for a forehand shot, our fingers are going to be pointing up to the ceiling. And on the backhand side, we not only flip the racket down so our nails are pointing down, we also want to turn that thumb so we can slide the thumb up so that it's underneath, more on the flat part of the grip. So here is our ready position, and when we move to the backhand net, we slide the thumb over so it's more flat on the base of the racket. Now the challenge with changing the grip is that it's impossible to change the grip if you're holding the racket too tight. So remember I spoke in the previous session about needing to keep your grip very loose so that someone came running by and grabbed my racket, they could pull it right out of my hands. That's really important because you cannot move a grip that is locked in. It's really, really tough. You can try it. Squeeze it really tight and try and move your hand around, and it's almost impossible. So even as you're prepping, you have to be aware of having a loose grip so that, because you don't know where the bird is coming. It has to be loose so you can adjust forehand or backhand. So once you see that the shot is coming to your backhand, that's when you can very quickly change your grip to prepare for the backhand shot that you want to hit. And remember, since our racket is leading us, that big dog running on the leash, pulling us forward, then it's at the initial movement that we have to change our grip. We don't want to wait till we get there. We don't want to get there and say, oh wait, we have to change our grip. It's way too late to do that. So the grip has to be changed the split second we see that we're moving towards the backhand. Change. Change. So the last problem that I want to talk about is something that I see the most as a major obstacle to perfecting this backhand front court footwork. And that is something I call the underwater racket. And the reason I call it that is because it's as if people are swimming all of a sudden and their rackets go down and they come very slowly up to the bird as if they're pulling the racket underwater. Bloop, 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 bloop. So it comes and meets the bird lower than if you would move directly out with the racket. This problem occurs most commonly when the player drops the racket after the prep jump. So it's really important to be aware, even though you're falling in your feet and preparing with your prep jump, that your racket stays at chest level and maintains the offensive position. If I prep and drop my racket, and sometimes you'll even hear people hitting the racket on the ground, which is clearly an indication that you're dropping the racket, then you need to be aware of holding the position so that you can move directly out to the bird in a straight line with the racket, as opposed to going down first. Even if your steps are perfect, you're going to meet the bird late because you're going from down underwater all the way up slow, and you're going to intercept the bird down here as opposed to up here in the more offensive position. So the solution for that is to be aware of the racket and thinking of drawing a straight line from your prep position to directly underneath the bird. So there's a magic marker on the end of your racket head, and it needs to draw a straight line to avoid going underwater. So I'll show you a couple times underwater and then the straight line correction. Under. So of course I'm exaggerating here. This is what it could look like in a more realistic movement. So I'm still meeting the bird way too low to maintain the offensive position. So to correct it, I add my magic marker on the tip and I draw a straight line directly out. So my racket's going straight out to under the bird, as opposed to drawing a dip. Straight out. Straight out. So I hope we helped to solve some of those challenges you've had with the backhand front court footwork. The homework for this week, I want you to really focus on which of these problems you might be having. And even if you're not having one of them or two of them, I want you to go through each of the 4 and try it once the wrong way, and then correct it and do it 10 times in the correct way. Now you might be saying, Anna, why are you making us practice it the wrong way? Well, it's important to know these differences between doing it correctly and incorrectly. So maybe you don't have that problem now, but down the road, maybe 1 month, 2 months, maybe even a year, that problem might come up for you. And if you're aware of it, you'll know the solution. So until next time, remember, step your game up.